I'd remind everyone once again to put your cell phones on silent. And I'd like to welcome you to the first State of Lafayette Parish School System Luncheon. It comes at a really important time for us as a community and for our school system in general. Before we move forward, I might just say that this idea was planted as a seed back in October when Dr. Aguilar received word that the state scores were moving in the right direction. He and Eric Knezik called and we sat down and had lunch, and he gave me a little preview of what was about to be announced publicly the following week. And he said, we have an idea about how to get the word out about the progress that we're making in our public schools, and we'd like you to help us. And so that's how the idea for this luncheon started, and very quickly it moved into an opportunity to showcase the great programs and the great work that often go unheralded and unappreciated and unnoticed by those of us who are busy with our day-to-day lives, and many of us who maybe no longer have kids in school or don't have our children in public school. And so very grateful to Dr. Aguilar and his staff for pulling together this wonderful showcase of the work that their students are doing. And since we're running a little ahead of schedule, and before we move into the invocation and some of the opening music performances that we have for you, I am a graduate of the Lafayette High class of 1972. My class is coming up on its 45th class reunion, and the Butler building, known as a temporary classroom that I took Algebra 2 in, is still being used today to teach, I don't know what, but it could still be Algebra 2. My name may still be on a desk underneath a desk somewhere in that room. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the facilities needs in just a moment in Dr. Aguilar's presentation. But I just thought for a moment, do I have anybody else here went to Lafayette High? Would you stand up? Any other Lafayette High graduates, would you stand up? And stay standing, because we're not going to just pick on Lafayette High. If you went to Acadiana High School, you had Acadiana High School graduate, would you stand up? Como High School, would you stay standing? Stay standing. Como High School. Northside High School, Karen Crow High School. Did I get them all? That's all of them, okay. And if you graduated from a public high school anywhere, if you would just stand up. I think that says a lot about how we all can come to appreciate the presentation that we're about to have here today. So one more round of applause for Dr. Aguilar and his group. My name is Cherry Fisher May. Along with my husband, Steve, we publish the publications of Media that includes ABiz, The Independent, which you may have read is now going all digital, and a new magazine we're launching called The Current, which comes out in April, a glossy magazine of a journal of Lafayette's arts and ideas. And of course, we produce many, many events throughout the year, including this one. I'm going to start by introducing the head table. To my far left is Annette Samek, the Chief Academic Officer for the Lafayette Parish School System. Next to her is School Board Member Mary Morrison, School Board President Dawn Morris, School Board Member Tommy Angel, Chief Financial Officer Billy Guidry. We'll hear more from Dr. Aguilar in just a moment. To my far right, we have School Board Member Dr. Tammy Chasson, School Board Member Jeremy Hidalgo, School Board Member Justin Santani, School Board Member Eric Knezik, and School Board Member Elroy Broussard could not be here at lunch, but he will be joining us tonight. And then, of course, next to my immediate right, we have Richard Zuschlag, the CEO and president of the Acadian Companies, and Richard will be speaking more as he introduces Dr. Aguilar in a moment. Pat Trahan with Iberia Bank, who's one of our presenting sponsors, is going to offer the invocation, and as Pat makes his way to the stage, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what's about to happen. Pat's going to offer the invocation. Following that, the junior ROTC group from Como High School will do a presentation of the colors. Then we have students who are going to offer the Pledge of Allegiance in 4 different languages, including English. And then that will be followed by the Star Spangled Banner by the Lafayette High School chorus, Les Voix du Lion. So please stand as you are able, and we will move through the opening ceremonies.
Let's quiet ourselves. Dear Lord, as we gather together to enjoy this great meal in this great hall, keep us mindful of those who go without. For those of us who don't know hunger and thirst for food and drink, give us a hunger and thirst to reach out and help those who fail to make it in the upward pull. We ask this in the name of Jesus and in all of the holy names of God. God for us, God with us, God in us, and God through us. Amen.
And now the Como High School ROTC will present the colors. And now we'll invite Talon Arsenault of Alice Boucher Elementary, Isabella Boudreau of Plantation Elementary, and Julian Temple of Prairie Elementary to come forward to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And now in English, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stars through the perilous sky.
And now please be seated. We have a few acknowledgments as we start the program. This day would not be possible at all without the sponsors, many sponsors who stepped forward to make it happen. And we do want to get a group photo of a representative from each one of the sponsors. So as I call your name, if you would stand to be recognized by the audience and then make your way to the back lobby so that our photographer can take a photograph of you there. One of the first sponsors to come on board was Iberia Bank. Jerry Vascacu is their market president and vice president of, I can't get all of Jerry's title right all the time, but at least I'm pronouncing Vascacu right these days. So anyway, Jerry, would you stand and be recognized and make your way to the back? Joining Iberia as a presenting sponsor is the Pugh Family Foundation. The founder and chairman, Nick Pugh, is with us. And Nick, if you would stand and make your way to the back, we say thank you for your support. Our supporting sponsors include the Lafayette Schools Credit Union. Connie Roy is the president and CEO of that organization. Connie, would you stand and be recognized and make your way to the back? And also a supporting sponsor is the MBSB Group. Mark Stelper is the president of MBSB. Mark, would you stand and be recognized and make your way to the back? And then our sustaining sponsors include Architects Beasley Moliere. Charles Beasley is with us. He's the president of Architects Beasley Moliere. Charlie, please. And rounding out our top-level sponsors is One Acadiana. I know Jason Elkubi's with us. Jason, thank you so much for your support, and if you would join the sponsors in the back. We also have 4 table-level sponsors, and I'd like to make a group photo with them as well. I don't have the actual names of the individuals for each of these, but we do want to acknowledge that they're here, and they have supported this in a big way by supporting as a table sponsor. Tommy Abear with Atmos Energy is here. Tommy, would you stand exactly where you are? Oh, there you go. Would you make your way to the back so we can get your photo? Tommy, you have to go get your picture made. Calder, Champagne, and Slavin, LLC is here with us also, with the representative of Calder, Champagne, Slavin, please. Associated Design Group is another table sponsor. Thank you so much for your support. And rounding out the sponsors are Architects Southwest, and Wayne Domingue is here. So Wayne, if y'all would make your way out into the lobby, and the light's better there, so we're gonna do the group photo out there. Afterwards, we are going to take a group photo of Dr. Aguilar and his staff, but they're still very busy. But I do want to acknowledge the team that put together today's luncheon. Paget Guidry, Sahuna LeBlanc, Robin Olivier, Randy Bernard, Ozzy Yazdi, and of course Annette Samick did the PowerPoint presentation that we're going to see later. We're going to take a group photo of that team afterwards. But right now we're going to enjoy lunch and take a break for about 15 or 20 minutes. And I hope you will enjoy the musical performance that has been prepared for you today. Our luncheon ensemble is the Lafayette High School Strings. Please welcome them. As the last few meals are being served, sorry. One more time for the Lafayette High Strings, excuse me. And I'm going to give a shout out to our grandson, Taggart Fitzgerald, on the upright bass. Tag. Before we move forward, I do have one announcement to make about something, a little gift that you have on your table from Iberia Bank. And Judy sent me a script to read that goes along with your, so I'm going to have to wing it. Iberia Bank is celebrating 130 years in business. And so, yes, congratulations. And they are inviting you to take advantage of a golden opportunity. One lucky winner is going to receive $13,000, and 13 lucky winners will receive $1,300 each. So it's your lucky 13. There's information on the back about how to enter and win. You visit the website at iberiabank.com/130th anniversary between now and March 8th. So you have 2 days to enter and win. And I know that the chocolate bars, did everybody get a chocolate bar or just one person per table? One person per table. Okay. Well, I'm the lucky person at my table who got one, so. Please enjoy on behalf of Iberia Bank. As the conversation started last fall, I mentioned to you about the test scores and the rankings for Lafayette Parish schools moving in the right direction. And so Dr. Aguilar started making the rounds of different business organizations in the community and business leaders and sharing the good news. And he started talking about how the school system was going to move forward, building on the progress that it had achieved in the last recent years. And you're going to hear more about that from Dr. Aguilar in a moment. But Dr. Aguilar was very touched by a personal letter that he received from Richard Zuschlag after he made a presentation, I believe it was to the One Acadiana board, about the future of Lafayette Parish schools. And Dr. Aguilar was so moved by the letter that he asked Richard to come and share a few remarks today and also introduce him and his presentation. So please welcome CEO and founder of Acadian Companies, Richard Zuschlag, to offer a few remarks.
Thank you, Sherry, and I thank the independent newspaper, Iberia Bank, the Pew Family Foundation, and all of our sponsors for making today's luncheon possible. I believe in the value of education, and not just for students, but also the communities in which they live. Communities matter to schools, and schools matter to communities. There's an unequivocal interdependence. President John F. Kennedy famously said, "Our progress as a nation can be no more swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource." It's time we invest fully in our number one resource and make it a top priority. Our schools hold the keys to our future, which is our teachers and our students. We need to ensure that they have adequate resources, starting with safe and sound facilities. I don't need anyone to tell me that our schools are overpopulated, that their facilities are outdated and inadequate. I see it when I drive around Lafayette Parish. Our schools are over capacity, resulting in inadequate classroom space and core service areas. Temporary buildings litter the schoolyards. We need the Lafayette community to financially invest in our school system in order to make a long overdue improvements to our schools. The only way to produce this revenue is through a parish-wide tax. We can no longer afford to be idle. Our future is at stake. Lafayette Parish voters will have an opportunity to vote on a proposed tax in April, which will be a 1/2 cent dedicated tax to replace 248 temporary buildings located in school campuses throughout this parish. If approved, the tax will be collected for 10 years and then expire. Dry schools mean dry kids. The Lafayette Parish School Board has worked hard to come up with a plan to replace approximately 1/2 of the temporary classroom buildings, and the school board has hired an excellent superintendent that has worked hard with our educators and teachers to improve the academic scores of the Lafayette Parish Public Schools. I hope and pray that the people of Lafayette will stand with me and others in our community and support the proposed new tax so that these long overdue improvements to our school facilities can be made. I can think of no more solid or important investment than our children and their future. Here with us today is Dr. Don Aguilar, Superintendent of the Schools of Lafayette Parish. Since his tenure with the Lafayette Parish School System began in May of 2015, Dr. Aguilar has already made significant performance improvements. Last fall, the State Department of Education released numbers showing the Lafayette School District jumped from 27th to 19th among 70 Louisiana public school districts, and scores improved in 85% of the Lafayette Parish public schools over the previous year. As Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Aguilar oversees 43 campuses that provide education services to approximately 30,000 students. He manages the district's budget and the staff of over 3,500 employees. In short, he does not have an easy job, to say the least, but he does have a positive attitude and a real passion to effect change. I'm proud to introduce to you my friend and real champion of education, Dr. Don Aguilar.
Good afternoon, and thank you to Richard and Sherry for providing this excellent forum to really showcase the Lafayette Parish School System. I want to make sure that I give due credit to your local school board members who are assembled here today, along with Mr. Elroy Broussard. See, I have 40 years of experience in public education, 13 years now as superintendent of schools. I understand what a good relationship should be between a superintendent and a school board member. I'm here to tell you that I see strong, unwavering evidence from your elected school board members that they are here to serve. Whatever this community might need, including our teachers, our parents, and especially our students, these elected officials know that it is their job to give them the tools and the resources that they need. Now, in terms of my responsibility in this equation, I am unapologetic to the board as well as the community. I am single-mindedly and unwaveringly committed to improving the lives of students in the Lafayette Parish school system and Lafayette Parish in particular. I also understand that LPSS is a part of an enterprise much bigger than one person or even this school board, and that we all have to work together to successfully educate and support students, and that can only be done through a team effort. My hope is that you are here today being a volunteer to be part of that team to address the academic needs for students in the Lafayette Parish school system. How will we measure our success? It's quite simple. We need to deliver resources so that increasingly we have higher quality teaching and learning in order for our students, our graduates, to be able to be on a solid path to success and fulfilled lives. This first slide that you see on the panels really speak to last year's academic growth for the Lafayette Parish school system. I made a promise to this board that Lafayette Parish could and would become an A-rated school system. I developed a 4-year pathway, a game plan to move the Lafayette Parish school system 10 academic points, to move from, at the time, a district performance score of 90 up to the level necessary to be A-rated, which is 100 on this accountability scale. We set a target of growing 2.5 points annually over 4 years to close that 10-point gap. I'm happy to tell you that this past academic year undoubtedly surprised many people. because the magnitude of the 1 year of growth was 7.1 accountability points. Thank you. So I'm here to tell you that there's a phrase that's being used in the Lafayette Parish school system today, and it goes something like this: hope is not a strategy. We are not here doing this work hoping for something good to happen for our children. We do not espouse to depend on luck for good things to happen to the school system. Notice on that accountability slide, we saw gains in every metric used to evaluate student success, not just at the elementary and middle school level, not just at the end of course assessment level, not just at the graduation rate, not just at the strength of diploma. We saw gains in every accountability metric used to judge success. We did not just wing this decision to improve the Lafayette Parish school system. We developed a strategic plan called Vision 2020 to drive the conversation to get us where we need to be. This strategic plan, at the heart of this plan, is the idea that we're going to devote 100% of our energy to raising student achievement. If we do that well, that takes care of all of the academic needs, the social needs, the emotional needs of these children. We believe that we are focusing on identifying this 13-year pipeline that constitutes the Lafayette Parish school system. Along that pipeline of 13 years, we've got a couple of staging points. We want all of our students to enter education ready and able to fulfill the work. We want all of our children to get to 4th grade with the academic skills necessary to be successful. All of our children to get to 8th grade, and finally, we'd like all of our students to graduate from high school in a 4-year cohort to be work or college ready. So the strategic plan really focuses on early childhood education. We have a very robust early childhood consortium in Lafayette Parish. We're working with 70 early childhood centers. We're helping those centers be able to bring to the table children who are ready for pre-K or kindergarten. We're going to talk more about early childhood education a little bit later. Secondarily, we're focused on the skills necessary to address the academic skills from kindergarten through 12th grade. That plan is research-based. It provides necessary baseline data collection. It espouses to expect increasing rigor so that we have more of our students who are reaching proficiency levels. By the way, the Department of Education in Baton Rouge is moving toward a new level of proficiency. It requires students to score mastery or better. Lafayette Parish is committed to reaching that high bar. Currently, 43% of students in the Lafayette Parish school system in grades 3 through 8, 43% are reaching the mastery level. The target for all districts is to get to 50% of students scoring mastery or better over the next 10-year period. We're going to reach that benchmark much sooner than the expectations from the state. We're also focusing on workforce development, trying to provide tools for our middle and high school students to be work-ready or college-ready. We've got several partners in the room here today, One Acadiana, Jumpstart, and others, focusing on providing pathways, courses that help our students have the skills necessary to to receive credentials to be college or work ready. And lastly, something that we have on our table repeatedly is the idea that we have to incorporate more and more technology where it serves us to help students become more efficient, effective, academically stronger. We're on the march as we speak today about providing more and more technology, but not just for the sake of having an electronic device in the hands of students. Having the device and using the device in ways that help educate students. So we're committed to this march to one-to-one technology devices. Last year we provided Chromebooks for all fifth graders in the district. In the upcoming budget, we're proposing an additional grade to be added, fourth graders. Even if we do this the slow way, which is buying technology as we have resources, we're committed to providing those tools and those technologies to help students to be successful. Now, all of that gets us to really to something that is more than just numbers. You see, behind those numbers, and there are lots of ways to describe an academic year, behind all of those numbers are students. So at the heart of what we do at the Lafayette Parish School System is provide an enriching, caring environment that often goes beyond academics and instruction. I'll let a few of our adults and the students explain this to you in their testimonial. First, Myrtle Place Elementary School is becoming a totally immersed French-speaking school. In late May, a group of our students will visit the island of Martinique, their exchange program.
Last spring, our Myrtle Place students participated in a positive international cultural exchange by hosting a group of exchange students from the French island of Martinique. This visit promoted positive cultural and real-world experiences for our students and families. Our students have enjoyed the development of long-distance friendships and are looking forward to their cultural exchange visit this May to Martinique. We are fortunate that the Lafayette Parish School System embraces French immersion through the schools of choice.
L'école élémentaire de Myrtle Place offre une opportunité excellente pour l'immersion française pour les étudiants de la paroisse de Lafayette.
So I grew up in a family that's mom and dad spoke French, but as soon as I went into a room, they flipped back to English. I wish I had that French immersion program today. This next testimonial comes from Catherine Drexel, elementary school. A special Quest LA4 grant provided opportunities for special needs students that they may not have otherwise existed.
Catherine Drexel has 3 early childhood special needs classes that are not found at all campuses. As part of the Special Quest LA4 grant, the staff at Catherine Drexel focused on transitioning LA4 special needs students to full inclusion kindergarten settings. Although the Special Quest grant has concluded, the process is embedded in Catherine Drexel's daily routine, and the staff believes the planning and collaboration is essential for the educational supports of a special needs child. How do we know this is a successful plan of action? Parents repeatedly inform us of the substantial growth that occurs with their children. A parent recently said of her autistic son, "I don't know the definition of perfect, but look around you. Perfect is here at Catherine Drexel, where my son got the opportunity to be whole, accepted, and supported to learn, grow, and be successful."
Our third testimonial involves a student from Plantation Elementary School. They are the newest Lighthouse Leader in Me school in the district. I know that we have representatives here from the Schumacher Group. They just publicly announced a $1.3 million program initiative funding to support Leader in Me in the Acadiana schools. I want to say thank you to the Schumacher Group. Thank you. It goes without saying that the United Way of Acadiana also is a huge supporter of the Leader in Me, and I want to say thank you also to United Way of Acadiana. This young lady that you're about to hear really breaks your heart. This is Zoriel Tapo.
That's what I strive to be. Big proactive. I'll take care of it. I got it. And you didn't even have to ask. A leader puts first things first. Sure, I'd like to stay outside and play, but I've got homework to finish. So volleyball, hopscotch, jump rope, riding my bike and scooter, it'll just have to wait. It takes a strong person to be a leader. Not in the body, but strong in the mind. Because once things turn sour, there is no undo button. You can't press rewind. A leader has to make the smart decision the first time. It only takes a second to get in trouble, but a lifetime to repair. So I'll try to be that leader that would help you see clear. Matter of fact, right now I'll declare I'm a leader. I don't think it, I know it. Realize. A leader doesn't have to be a Dr. King, Rosa Parks, the president, or the Pope. A leader can be a principal, janitor, bus driver, a student, or just someone who gives others hope. Some leaders stand in front with their followers behind. I choose to stand hand in hand with other leaders side by side. And together we say, stop the bullying, stop the teasing, stop the fighting. There are peaceful ways problems can be handled, other than posting violent and hurtful messages on Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube channel. We can talk about our problems. You see, one day I plan to lead a nation, but for the time being, I'll start with just little old me, right here at Plantation.
Thank you. Our fourth testimonial takes place at Acadian Middle. This is an example of how a school provides more for students than just academics.
Miracles and success stories happen every day around us. There's a student at Acadian Middle who I feel that the caring staff has changed her pathway toward success. This student recently lost her mother and fell into a grief-ridden decline. Many things have turned her life around. She has received special grief counseling, has participated in our leadership program with the Leader in Me, is part of the chorus program and the extended day learning program. Recently, she was one of the students recognized for her academic leadership and improved academics and behavior. And she was part of a group that sang the national anthem at the Pelicans basketball game in New Orleans. There's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And at Acadian Middle, we're proud to be part of her village.
Thank you. And this last testimonial is a story from Northside High School. It reminds all of us that regardless of a student's age, they are still children needing our care and support.
It's often difficult to counsel and hear the stories of so many students at Northside, especially the male students that appear to have such a tough exterior, but have gone through so many difficult hardships and obstacles within their own lives. An example is a Northside High student. At age 6, his mother abandoned him. He continued to hope she would return until he reached age 11. He stopped hoping. He stopped caring about himself and life. He existed but was hollow inside. He is one of many strong, physically fit Northside football players who will cry in my office because of the pain of being abandoned, not belonging in life. It takes a strong young man to become vulnerable enough to express himself to me with an open heart. Counselors build relationships and trust with students where they feel safe to disclose their emotional hurts and scars. I am glad to have these opportunities to pursue my passion to make a difference in our students' lives.
Thank you. And so it would be unfair for me to let you leave without asking you to do something for the Lafayette Parish School System. So the first thing that I want to call to your attention is the availability of tax credits to support early childhood education. Early childhood education is and will always be the most effective way to afford children the opportunity to get to school on time with the skills that they need. Luckily, with all of the tax credits that have been supported by the legislature, there is one near and dear to early childhood education programs. It allows businesses the opportunity to receive a $5,000 tax credit off of their state tax bill. So in a nutshell, what a business can do is fill out the appropriate documentation, and you can direct $5,000 of your state tax debt back to the Lafayette Parish early childhood programs to support helping those children. So as you exit this afternoon, to my right and your left, there will be a table set up. If you own a business, any business, and you pay state taxes, please consider redirecting $5,000 of your Louisiana tax that you owe. Please consider redirecting that $5,000 back to Lafayette Parish to support early childhood education. It's a no-brainer. It doesn't cost you $1. You get the full credit up to $5,000. But you've got to earmark that money to come back to Lafayette. I'd really love 100 individuals who own businesses to pick up an application form, show it to your accountant, your CPA, your auditor, and consider making a $5,000 tax credit donation to the Lafayette Parish Early Childhood Program. There is no better way for your tax dollars to be used than helping children in Lafayette Parish. So don't skip out the back door. Go to your left, pick up one of those packets, and please consider. Let's see if we can contribute, let's say $500,000 of money that you would pay to the state otherwise, redirect that money back to this worthy endeavor. Please consider doing that. And the last thing that I want to challenge you with is that we have a tax proposition to go to the voters on April 29. It is a half-cent sales tax. It exempts food and drugs. It collects over a 10-year life span. It collects about $195 million. $195 million will allow us to make significant improvements on 12 of our campuses. These are 12 campuses that have excessive numbers of temporary buildings. When we use the word excessive, we mean this reality. Those campuses were never built for the student population that they house today. Therefore, the cafeteria is woefully inadequate. The administrative areas are woefully inadequate. the number of bathrooms woefully inadequate. These 12 campuses are stressed to the point where the core service areas cannot accommodate the true needs of those students and those professional staffs. This represents a pathway to begin addressing the facility needs here in Lafayette Parish. You will hear people perhaps say, it's not enough. Why are we only addressing 60% of our temporary buildings? Why aren't we asking for more? Why aren't we planning to address all of it as quickly as possible? Here's the reality. This board, this community is being asked to contribute something reasonable that has a chance of getting voters' success. It's not the end all. Think of this as a phased approach to addressing facilities. I urge you, as you walk out, take a look at the very, very graphic photographs you maybe didn't see as you walked in to the luncheon. There's a photograph on the back side of this room. It's got a very vivid photograph of one temporary classroom on each of those 12 campuses. One of those temporary classrooms in that group of 12 photographs is a building that the Lafayette Parish School System purchased secondhand from then USL in the 1960s. The ROTC program at USL was winding down from the high period of World War II and immediately thereafter. The university didn't need any more temporary buildings. They sold them to the Lafayette Parish School System. One of those photographs is one of those buildings. It is a World War II era building sold to the school system in the 1960s, still being used today on one of our campuses. We did some checking to find out when did all of this begin in Lafayette Parish. In 1955, then Superintendent Landry mentioned to the Board of Education that there was a serious classroom shortage in the Lafayette Parish school system in 1955. Superintendent Landry went on to describe for his board what a temporary classroom was, because they didn't exist in the school system prior to 1955. He described them as metal-like classrooms with a wooden floor. And he encouraged the board to begin addressing classroom shortages in 1955 by purchasing temporary classrooms. By 1971, 16 years later, the school system had an inventory of 146 temporary classrooms. That began the shortage of classrooms, permanent classrooms, and began the practice of relying on temporary classrooms that we're now calling container classrooms. And we're asking for voters' support to remove 60% of those temporary classrooms and get our kids back in facilities indicative of a community like the Lafayette community. So I got a couple of photographs. Well, first of all, so we have that project listing representing about 60% of buildings to be removed, totaling about $194 million. And by the way, part of that half-cent sales tax is a regular annual sum of $3 million additionally to help support school maintenance. So we're not only planning to build new wings and in some cases new campuses, we're also planning to maintain your buildings at a higher level, hence the money for construction. So in that group of 4, that's not one of the oldest in that group. Nor is it in the next group. See that building that looks like somebody started to paint it yellow? Well, that wasn't our maintenance department. You see, there was probably a classroom teacher in that temporary classroom thinking, I'm going to make this place more inviting, so I'm going to paint the outside. And it looks like they didn't finish even the first coat. Painting that temporary classroom a different color on the outside doesn't change the fact that that's one of those temporary buildings we bought from USL in the 1960s. So that wasn't staged. That actually happened in March of last year, and just happened to have somebody catching the video of something that happens on a regular basis on campuses that have too many temporary classrooms. There are a couple of campuses where it happens so often that kids are soaked that there are PE uniforms available. Kids can jump out of their school clothes, get into the PE uniforms. The clothes get dropped into dryers. By the end of the next class period, the kids can change back into their dry clothes. That happens on a regular basis in the Lafayette Parish school system. It also happens so much that we have taken for granted temporary buildings that some people look at these pictures and see absolutely nothing wrong other than inconvenience. There are individuals who see their entire careers where they know that a temporary building has been on a campus for 40, 50, and yes, 60 years. This is an opportunity for the citizens of Lafayette to decide, are we going to do something about facilities? And if so, is it going to be decided on April 29? I want to thank everything that you saw here today is a product of the Lafayette Parish school system. We're absolutely proud to be stewards of your children. We are absolutely committed to higher graduation rates, to higher levels of achievement. We will be an A-rated school system before we solve the facility problem. The two events are not linked together. Every day we focus on helping children. Every day we make decisions to help children be more successful and have the skills that they need. Every day, we stand ready to work with any individual in Lafayette Parish willing to stand with us to help prepare these children for a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aguilar. A couple of closing remarks. If you're interested in being involved in an advocacy role for the upcoming referendum, Richard is hosting a breakfast on March the 16th at the Petroleum Club. He invites anyone who is interested in supporting it to come as his guest, and you can learn more about opportunities and challenges ahead. And if you are interested, you can contact his son Blaise Duschlag or Dee Stanley, either one, and get more information about attending the breakfast. I do want to thank once again our sponsors, Iberia Bank, and congratulations again on 130 years. And please go to the website and sign up for their giveaway. There's also a philanthropic twist to it, and you may win a lot of money. Pew Family Foundation, thanks for stepping up and being part of this. I think it's one of your first real public outreach experiences, and we hope it's been a good one for you. Lafayette Schools Credit Union, thanks again to the MBSB Group, architects Beasley Moliere and One Acadiana, and also our table sponsors, Atmos Energy, Calder Champagne Slavin, the Associated Design Group, and Architects Southwest. We're going to repeat this entire program tonight beginning at 6. And it's free and open to the public. The concession stand will be open. The only change in the program is that the national anthem will be performed by the Burke Elementary Chorus instead of the Lafayette High Chorus. And so there'll be a little bit of a change there. But if you have friends, family, or know people who might be interested in what's going on in the schools and wasn't able to join us today, they can join us this evening. The entire program has also been recorded by AOC. It will be packaged and presented online and on our website as well as on their channels. And we will be announcing that broadcast schedule on theend.com as soon as we get it from Ed Bowie and his friends at AOC. But thank you, Dr. Aguilar, for your informative presentation, and to the staff and to the board, and all of the great teachers who are with us today, the department heads who helped pull all this together. There were a lot of moving parts out there in the lobby, and they did a magnificent job of getting the kids here, getting them ready, and it was great performances. One last round of applause for LPSS and the work they do. Thank you for coming.